In the following presentation, you will learn what is foreign language anxiety and how you can identify if any of your students is suffering from it, and also why you as teacher are key to beating it. Then you will learn what is communicative language teaching and how you could apply it in the classroom. And finally, this presentation will give you useful tips to help your student to overcome it. Definition of foreign language anxiety or xenoglossophobia. Horwitz and Cope define it as a distinct complex construct of self-perception, beliefs, and feelings related to classroom language learning. Moreover, McIntyre and Garner define it as a feeling of tension associated with foreign language contexts, including speaking, listening, and learning. Likewise, Sang defined anxiety as the psychological tension of the learner.
Are my students suffering from foreign language anxiety? First, it is important to remember that anxiety itself is a feeling of nervousness and tension. Recognizing students suffering from FLA can be really difficult sometimes, since the first thing we teachers think is that that student doesn't want to participate because he or she is not interested on the class, and that's a huge mistake. Pay close attention to the student's body language and try to compare the student's behavior inside and outside of the classroom. Then, teachers, if you see your student trembling, freezing, going blank, avoiding participating in the classroom, if his or her writing and reading skills are very different from his or her listening and speaking skills, that means that the student writes perfectly, for example, but has a poor speaking performance. That may indicate you that your student suffers from this type of anxiety.
Knowing the existence of this type of anxiety is the most important part of dealing with it. Thus, the role of language teachers is vital since they can alleviate or aggravate the student's condition. Moreover, a classroom tends to increase anxiety levels due to the evaluative nature of the teacher, peers, and the student's own fear of losing their positive self-image. Through an authoritative, humiliating, and embarrassing attitude toward the student's errors, the teacher can create a stressful environment in the class, leading to negative consequences on the student's cognition and their willingness to interact and participate in the different class activities. Foreign language anxiety might not need any special treatment, but it certainly requires the professor's awareness in order to identify and understand this situation in the students, for which the teacher's role is vital in applying specific techniques to enhance learning opportunities and create the proper environment for it. Fortunately, there are many things that can be done. We need to remember that the educator is a psychologist, a friend, and an instructor rolled into one, and have the power to take anxious students back to the learning track with the assertive use of modern techniques. For this reason, teachers must be conscious and careful about the words and actions that they employ in order to make the classroom a safe and less anxiety-provoking place that increase the students' confidence on their own abilities to use and learn a second language.
Now we have the communicative language teaching, which is a method that emphasizes the importance of group work in the language classroom. This approach seeks to help the students to develop competences in their four skills: listening, reading, writing, and speaking, and produce authentic language. But how can we apply it in a classroom? First of all, the teacher must make a diagnosis to see the students' needs and their preferences. Also, the teacher must provide extrinsic motivation, giving positive reinforcement, and be a facilitator, not a judge. And finally, you must know that the teacher should focus more on fluency than accuracy for this approach, to help those students with language anxiety to feel more comfortable and not judged. Remember that students feel more comfortable while working in groups than with a teacher, so the teacher must provide a comfortable environment for their students.
Now that you have knowledge over FLA and how to identify it, it is important that as their teacher you act as a guide and help them to overcome it. It has been proven that students need to feel their teacher's support, encouragement, and patience with their errors without being overcritical in order for them to reach a better performance. Moreover, here are 4 tips to help your students beat foreign language class anxiety. 1. Mistakes are not bad. Fear of failure might be the main reason of FLCA, so it is important that you teach your students to make mistakes, learn from them, and repeat. Languages require time and practice, so it is normal to make mistakes when it comes to them. The strategy to be used is to remind the students every time you can that mistakes are welcomed in the class. 2. Make it fun. Your students will not feel encouraged to participate if the class is quiet and the only person speaking is you. The strategy to be used is to use different types of aids that will encourage participation, such as music, videos, games, among others. Make the class practical rather than theoretical. Thus, choose activities and tasks that do not cause instant frustration. 3. Praise your students. Make them feel successful and satisfied when using foreign languages by giving compliments. They will feel that their efforts are being appreciated. The strategy in this case is to tell each one of them how much they have improved and how proud you are. Thus, offer incentives as participation points and extra credit that will encourage them to be a more active part of the class. Also, you will notice decreased levels of anxiety, less stress, and a better academic performance. 4. Avoid pressure. Pressure felt by FLA students can come from a variety of sources: their teacher, other classmates, oral presentations, oral tests, and public speaking. Pressure can also be applied even when it is not intended or on purpose, so the strategy here is to create a more relaxed atmosphere by talking with their students about how they feel in order to help them to overcome their fears. Finally, by applying these steps and strategies, it is expected that the students improve their anxiety towards speaking a new foreign language. We invite you to put them into practice in your next lesson and throughout the entire course in order to reach a better performance among your students in the language field. Thank you for your attention.